Hey guys, this is Elliot Wave Sage. Want to go ahead and do a GameStop AMC update. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for your education and entertainment purposes only. So GameStop, pretty simple, is in a WXY correction. You have three swings here for a larger degree W, an X connector. Our first W actually was extended, and it looks like has ended here at about 1950, and we are now in another connector wave of this leg, but we should get one more leg lower to finish the correction. Um, we were looking for this W to end sooner, potentially even here, but based on the price action and the shallowness of this X compared to, if you look at, look how big that one was, it's just not sufficient to label it that way. So I do see it extending lower and then ending the correction here for either a low or a big counter trend rally here. But I do think we'll get some more upside here, potentially an X, and then a drop lower. So this is how I see GameStop, and then AMC, kind of the same chart where you have a WXY for a larger degree W, an X wave. Here in the Y we have three waves. So we have the first W that should be coming to an end or has already ended for a bigger bounce in X. Again, it could be sizable, just like we saw. So it could be a pretty good healthy bounce, but then I do believe that will fail and ultimately come down into these areas. 356, $3. So I do think it's due for a pretty healthy bounce. Both of them. GameStop may have already started. AMC maybe just trying to follow suit, and then a bigger pullback. This also aligns with the market forecast on the Russell, which these trade with. Right now, the Russell, what I have is we have 5 waves up completed in the Russell already with bearish divergence. We do have a cycle break on the Russell. As you can see, I do believe the 45-minute will go oversold, but I do think, looking at the wave count, we could be bouncing in B and then a C, a wave down. And when I think C comes down, when we reach this point, somewhere around 203, 202 on the Russell, that should be coinciding with the bottom in AMC and GameStop. So how do I trade this? I really want to see that pullback in the Russell index on that wave 2, and then we will look back and see where this is trading at that moment. My guess, it will be somewhere in these areas here and here when that happens. So that's how I look at it, guys. Now, my overall thoughts on these stocks real quick. So there's a lot of anger. I believe the market is sentiment driven. It's not news driven. I think the tweets in the end are just distractions. It's noise. It's nothing that really drove behavior, in the sense that the chart and the technicals were already set up for this. The money was on the sidelines already and needed to come in, and it came in. And so that is the situation. So we do have a cycle that ended in 21. We should see more upside in both of these as the next cycle continues in the next 12 to 18 months. What we also know is the sentiment is anger, despair, typical of a major cycle low here. Also, I want to mention that we have these posts from Roaring Kitty. They're like, did he scam everybody? We'll never know whether it was a scam or not. But like I said, this is a distraction. I don't care. I'm not trying to decipher what his posts mean or what all that was. But bigger picture, the market to me behaves more like poker than chess. I think people that you think the market is a big chess game, that they can outsmart it, that they can use their logic and like common sense to trade, always end up on the wrong side of the trade in the end. because they're being trapped and set up. And we have so many examples of this that I could give you, where that does, chess players that played the market as chess miss out, right? You know, and there's always good reasons why that you shouldn't buy, right? Technicals and even fundamentals, but in the end of the day, it's sentiment driven. And if you have too many people long, the market's going to go down. Too many people short, too many negative, market will go up. That's how it is. And then the news is the news that the market uses to justify the move that's already happened, not the other way around. So that's how I believe in the market. And so what's happening here in that context is I posted something on Twitter when we were up at $10 that this was the technical logical area of the short. It was the like no brainer, like this is what you would do. The short, okay, right here, right. This is where you would expect it to turn. So if I was going to set a trap to trap as many shorts as I can, to grow, essentially I need to grow the pot so that I can win the pot later. What do I need to do? I need to pretend to be weak when I'm really strong, right? Pretend to be weak. Let the shorts get super aggressive, overconfident, pile in, right? Even Citron Research came off the bench to short this after, like, I think he blew up like his fund shorting GameStop the last cycle. You think he would learn? That's talk about the overconfident. Talk about that. Think about that. That's a huge indicator of the trap that just got set. But there's tons of these Citron researches now in this short, and of course the logical chess player trader was short, and every pop here is being shorted, and they saw how easy it was. How easy. It's so simple. This is so easy. I should just I'm so smart, right? And but I think that's a setup, right? And then, oh, Warren Kitty's a fool and all this, and I think it's just all a big trap to get people to pile in on the short side. What I think, so how do I, again, how would this play out going forward? Well, you don't want them to know that right away. So what you want to do is do a couple more of these pumps and let them just fail spectacularly, right? Just let them come and pump. So I would expect a series of ones and twos, for a little bit of time, like ones and twos, like this, 1, 2, and then we come out and we do another 1, 2, and we just do these pumps and drops and pumps and drop, and and then the shorts are going to be like, hey man, this is the easiest thing I've ever seen. This is so simple. Like, look, and they are, and if you can get out of your short positions, it's probably good money. But I bet most of them, they're not, because they want it to go down here to zero, because that's what they logically expect would happen. Now, here we are. What I expect is the pot will grow, and then the skepticism on the retail community will grow if it isn't already. So these pumps will be weaker, and they won't get the retail to follow through. We're not going to be suckers. We're not going to we're not going to fall for this again. So it'll be a lot of doubt, and that sets you up for longs that won't be trapped. But they will give the illusion they're trapped, and then what will happen is at some point, we don't know when or why, you'll get another massive pump, maybe some news, maybe some fundamental news, right? That would really do it, right? The CEO drops a fundamental news bomb, something no one was expecting, and then the market comes to life, but the retail community is still skeptical. And then the shorts essentially have shorted so much, they have to cover, and essentially they squeeze themselves. They're the ones buying from each other. And essentially the shorts are turning the weapons on each other, and you get friendly fire. You've got shorts, so there's no more retail really piling in. There's no retail. They're not fighting retail. They're fighting themselves to get out of their own positions. They're fighting themselves. And then at some point, retail, like they always do, they come in at the end, and then you get the massive blow off top, because then they believe and they see what's happening. So that's what's going to happen. That's how this poker match is going to end in the way I think about the market. But so I figured this was going to be a huge trap, and the short and the longs would look weak, pretend to be inept, so you could trap as many people as you can, as many people as you can here. That's the goal. And then you use that, and you do that a couple more times, and then the shorts essentially, they start tripping over themselves, and then all of a sudden they're the ones. They're essentially, it's the hedge funds buying against each other, trying to cover, and there is no retail. Because retail is like, screw this. We're not. Fool me once, right? You're not going to fool me again and again. So they're going to just sit this one out. That's what's going to happen, and then you're going to get the short squeeze generated by the shorts themselves because they got too overconfident, and that's what we're doing. Now, has the pump been primed already? It's possible. Like I said, once two is set, anything can happen, right? And we may not get this ones and twos, but I think that's how it will play out. But I do look for a move higher and then a drop like this. But once we get this last swing down, the move can end at any moment, technically. So once we get this last swing, it doesn't, and we've seen these things truncate. So once we get that last swing, the swings are over. The move can end at any moment. So there's no guarantee we're going to come down to these lower areas, the 13. Like, there's no guarantee. We just know that I believe we need one more swing down, which also aligns with the Russell forecast. Now, if the Russell has set wave 2 already, then more than likely the forecast is off, right? So you got to keep an eye on that, how the Russell behaves in the next couple trading days, because if that's the case, then I would have to call that it's over here. It's already done, and GME is already done here. So and then I would just have to label WXY up here, and this X was just such a shallow bounce compared to, it just is out of proportion. But that's how I would look at the market right now. So that's how I see it. So most probable path, we want to watch the Russell. We want to see how this plays out. But that's how I look at this. My last video, I said, watch this pivot. We break it, we would bleed down, and we did that. I mean, that was what happened, and that's expected. So now the question is, do I go long here? I don't like the setup. I would say you can make your own decision. I probably would not want to go long here. I would want to wait for this Y to get it. Or you do get it, a breakout, and there's always a pullback, and then you can get in on the pullback once you get a better confirmation. Because if X gets a little more extreme, then you have to say the whole cycle ended. So, but right now it's too early. It's still too much of a lottery gambling to just go long here. Okay, guys, that's all I've got on my GameStop AMC update. Good luck trading, and we'll see what happens next week.